think the centre-half issue and not signing a centre-half in the summer, just gone, is the reason why I think ultimately City will lose the title this year. Because if they basically had bought, if they had strengthened, if they'd been in, for example, for Maguire, then Maguire would have made them so much stronger. They wouldn't have conceded so many goals and they would be so much closer to Liverpool. But as it is, I'm convinced that Liverpool will go on to win the title. And City, I think it's their defensive issues as to why they fall short.
I remember reading in the build-up to this season the idea that Rodri was a very long-term signing to come in and replace Fernandinho, who would move to centre-back, because City were thinking ahead to the day when Kompany would leave. But the injury to Laporte has made that happen maybe a season too early, that they were thinking about making that move anyway. Does that seem right? Is it the fact, because Rodri played very well against Burnley, got all kinds of plaudits in that game. Is it that they've lost Fernandinho's protection as well as having to have Fernandinho in at centre-back, which is a position he doesn't know?
Fernandinho's ultimately his best position is midfield, reading danger, breaking the play up. Rodri's a different type. Gundogan's a different type, and more cultured on the ball, can see a pass forward a lot quicker than Fernandinho can. But for me, the best centre-back in Man City squad at the moment is Fernandinho. If I was a manager of Man City, please God,
if you're listening,
then I would play Fernandinho at centre back, no doubt.
Yeah.
He's got pace, he can read it. Yes, he makes rash challenges, but so does Otamendi, so does John Stones, so does Vincent Kompany. All them players they've had down the line. Yes, they haven't strengthened in that area, and I agree with Crossy, they should have strengthened. But Pep always finds a solution. He did. He's had a left back. In Fabian Delph, who played midfield for me at Aston Villa, majority of last season, he played left back for Man City in a title-winning side. So he finds a solution. So it's really difficult to criticise him. Yes, we can criticise him in hindsight now because the injury to Laporte, but I would have had trust in him that when he's speaking to the recruitment guys, I'm sure he's saying to them, we'll be okay. Laporte stays fit, we're fine. I can get by with Stones and Otamendi. And Fernandinho will drop back in there and Rodri will come into that number 6 position and give us a little bit of protection or help us keep the ball a lot better than what we do under Fernandinho.
It's the start of a really important group of fixtures for Manchester City. We talk about how congested Christmas is, we talk about how important it is, but for Manchester City, with the teams that they've got and the games that they've got Arsenal, they've got Leicester in there, and I know Arsenal not in a great moment at the moment. We'll talk about them. Wolves away, which is always a tricky fixture for teams as well. And Sheffield United, who are so unknown and so capable, I know they'd lost in midweek, but so capable of brilliance and really causing teams problems. And this could be tough for Manchester City, and as much as any group of fixtures can be for them.
Yeah, the festive period always, I think, defines the title race, doesn't it? And I think that City will be tested over that run of games. They'll have to view it as applying pressure on Liverpool if they want to stay in the title race, because Liverpool are away with the World Club Championship, so they miss around. They have to kind of catch up on. They've got the extra games there in that tournament itself. It's a really big period for Liverpool, but also City, because they have to apply that pressure, and that they are hard games. They really are, and that I just think that the positive, I think, for Guardiola is that we saw the other night that they basically flicked a switch and got back to their best. If they can maintain that standard performance, they will win all of those games, in my view, because they're such a good player, such a good team, that they really are capable of beating absolutely everybody, and they've got that depth. The one area that they haven't got it is centre halves, but apart from that, they've really got a depth that I think will keep this season very much alive.
And as you've all said as well, when we talk about Manchester City and issues they have, it's always marginal differences. It's never huge problems for them. And as you said, Rob, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to be buoyed ahead of this game. He's unbeaten in 4 in the league, and Man United are looking for successive wins after a good win in midweek. Here it's the Manchester United boss.
We're going away against arguably the best team in England, so of course it's going to be a difficult game. But we need consistency. This is I said it before the Tottenham game. This is a chance for everyone to. Everyone was doom and gloom, but for us it's a chance to turn that doubt into belief. And for us, if we can manage to get another performance, the confidence, the way we played against Tottenham, if we can do that at Etihad, I'm sure we can come out of it with a result.
was a good performance, arguably their best performance of the season. They played with an anger, a hunger that United said against Spurs, Tim.
I think so. I think there were certain players there who didn't get a fair crack at the whip under Jose and had a point to prove. I think Rashford is one of them. He looked like he had the needle from the start and really wanted to prove a point, and he got a great opportunity to, didn't he, early on. I mean, their pace caused Tottenham problems all the time, and him cutting in from that left-hand side, which is his favoured position, was a real threat, and they pushed Tottenham back. I mean, this was a wonderful strike from Dele Alli. It was all made by this touch. We have to give him the credit for that, and fantastic 4-in-4 now for Dele, who looks a different player. When you've got players like Daniel James and Rashford and Greenwood running at you all of the time, picking up momentum and getting at you, there's always a chance you're going to give a penalty away. And Marcus took this very well, wasn't happy with the run-up. I thought he would just put his foot through the ball, but he looked more confident than anyone in the stadium. Fantastic. And he was the one who you're alluding to there, Rob, who really had a point to prove for me.
So just say if Martial's fit, because there's rumours he might be fit, might go on the bench. You play Marcus Rashford. You're in that Man United dressing room. You're the manager. What are you saying to Rashford to get at Otamendi, to get at Fernandinho, or stay out the left-hand side and cut inside?
Cut inside. I don't go with Martial anyway. I play Greenwood. I think he's done enough. I think he's an exciting talent. Doesn't look like he cares about anything. Looks like he's playing in the park with his friends. I think Martial's a little bit worried about the opposition. I think to get anything out of this game, Ollie has to be brave. He has to leave them free up the field somewhat. Yes, they have to track back at times. But the weakness of Man City is defensive. Sean Dyche never gave him a problem because Barnes was left on the bench. He played Chris Wood up front on his own. No support. Midfield areas never got close to anyone. So the back players of Man City were never really put under pressure. These three, with the pace they have, if they can pick up the ball and they can run at Man City's defence, they will cause them problems. It's just getting enough of the football, though. That's their problem.
Yeah, you don't get the impression that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is ever going to put out a sort of conservative team. He's going to take advantage of what their assets are, which is sort of trying to attack Manchester City and take advantage of their weakness.
We've said about Ole's results against the Big Six, you know, as an interim manager, and this season. Chelsea, the 4-0 win. Spurs, they beat midweek. Leicester, they beat 1-0 at home. You know, Liverpool, the only team to take points off. So in those big games, he finds something as a manager, and the players do.
He does. And I remember going to that game against Leicester, and it seemed to me in that game, before that game, he was under equal scrutiny, equal pressure, as he was against Tottenham, for example. But they just found a way to almost steamroller the opposition. They never let Leicester play or get going. They really didn't. It was one of the most poorest performances, really, unimpressive performances from Leicester that we've seen this season, because they just never allowed them to get into their rhythm. They worked so hard, they closed them down so effectively. And again, it was like that against Tottenham. I really expected Tottenham to win midweek. Yeah. And actually, what was impressive about United was they worked so hard. They absolutely blitzed them. A lightning start. Yeah. Rashford was absolutely fantastic, straight out the blocks. Lingard incredibly effective. They have a wonderful link up, those two. I mean, I know they're mates off the pitch, but you can see it translate into performances on the pitch. And they just never gave Tottenham a moment's peace. They really exposed any weaknesses there, and they got straight at them. And that's what United, at their best, should be about. High energy, pressing, work rate. And I think they got back to that. They'll certainly need that in abundance if they're to get anything out of City. But that's the challenge for them.
We will get the guys' thoughts on which way they think this one is going when we do the predictions a little bit later on. But we have breaking news, which is rare on a Friday. I'm quite excited. Leicester manager Brendan Rodgers has signed a new contract through to the summer of 2025. The Premier League club announced this earlier, and they tweeted this about Brendan Rodgers. Obviously, the side in second place in the Premier League table. Leicester City delighted to confirm that manager Brendan Rodgers has signed a new contract. They are in second place in the table. They've got a strong case for being Liverpool's main challengers to win the Premier League title this season. They've already done it in surprise circumstances, but they will be hoping, of course, that they can mount an even more serious challenge as the season pans out. They're 3 points clear of last season's champions Manchester City, who broke all sorts of records that season and the one before. And you can understand, with all the speculation over his future, with everything that was said about him being linked to Arsenal, maybe he talked about there being a buyout clause in his contract. You wonder if that's maybe gone in this new contract. And then the second day said, I'm not going anywhere. And now he signed a new contract.
There's no one more happier than Freddie Ljungberg at the moment, and probably Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You know, it's great news for them. You know, because he's off the market. This is a statement. You know, you can't come and just get our manager now. He's probably signed a fixed-term contract over that period. Brilliant. He, for me, apart from take Jurgen Klopp out of it, he's the manager of the season so far. No, we're only in December. But what he's done to transform the fortunes of that football club is nothing short than magnificent.
As a club, what do you think, Rob?
I think it's great. I think I was on the radio the other day and a Leicester fan phoned up and said that Brendan Rodgers is Leicester's greatest ever manager already, even though he's not won anything. And that was ahead of Claudio Ranieri, who won the league with Leicester, because the caller was saying that because they're going to challenge Liverpool and Man City for the title, better teams, it was a fluke that Leicester won the league under Ranieri.
A 38-game fluke.
Correct, absolute nonsense. You know, but you're not the radio show, Kel. But that's how highly some Leicester fans rate Brendan Rodgers, and it's a great news for Leicester.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, it is Arsenal's interest, let's be honest.